us okay?
I can.
All right, we're ready.
All right. It was good to get Juan back out and a little working 7-on-7, which was good. And really, there not much happened today as far as the injury list goes. So we worked out well on the injury side. Good work today. Proud of the guys. They had a long day and pushed through themselves, pushed through it, and made sure they kept themselves motivated and rolling. Add a little bit of heat today to it, so that was another part of it. Listen, it was great to get back in our stadium and have our fans there. I've heard the guys fed off of the energy, which was great. I've heard the things about the mask and so on. So actually, when I looked up there, I mentioned to one of the guys that everybody had their mask on. It's kind of an unusual looking thing. I guess somebody said that they had removed it, but we're all working on it. So it's important. I know with our fans, we got the best fans, National Football League, that they continue to work to keep their masks on if they did take them off. And just like we're doing with the players in meetings and anytime they're off the practice field, they got the masks on. So good examples to all our fans know that everybody's watching, and we're the example. And we take a lot of pride in that with our fans and our football team. So, but again, great to be in there. Our stadium's op crew, they were phenomenal in setting everything up. I mean, from the cones, we did it exactly like game day, for the headsets, for the pads there, for the coaches, and it was just Mark Donovan and his crew. Just my hat goes off to them. They really staged it like it was a game. We'll do this again this next Saturday and add some more people in there. And again, protocol ends up being important for all of us, and we'll keep working on that. But again, time's yours on this.
Let's go to Herbie. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Coach. You have a pretty tight relationship with a lot of your former assistants. 2 nights ago, Washington head coach Ron Rivera announced that he has cancer. I'm curious what was your reaction when you heard the news, and have you had an opportunity to offer him words of encouragement?
Well, I did. Ron lost a brother to cancer, so this is something that he dealt with. He watched his brother with it, and he understands the importance of getting it taken care of, and he'll attack it. I mean, he's a linebacker, right? And once a linebacker, always a linebacker. So he's got that grit and toughness, and he'll need that as he goes forward. But he's in the right frame of mind. He's a positive guy, and he's staying positive with this. So, but at the same time, he knows he's got to bear down on it, and that's what he'll do.
Let's go to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Andy, I just wanted to ask you about the camp this year, and with all the differences in this year, does this feel like camp to you? And if so, why? And if not, why not?
Well, initially, Adam, it didn't because we were here. It was just an unusual situation. But after today, I think if you ask the guys if it felt like camp, they'd probably tell you, yeah. I mean, all that other stuff kind of wore off, and about a week ago, and the guys were in the grind of it, and no more of a grind than they had today. And I was proud of them for battling through it.
Let's go to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Morning, Coach. Was wondering about Darrell Williams and how you liked how he's come back from the injury. And secondly, is there a certain aspect of his built-in relationship with Clyde that can maybe make these guys an effective 1-2 punch?
Yeah, well, I joked the Michigan guys and the LSU guys. I mean, we've got a whole lot of both. And LSU, from the Badger to the 2 running backs, I mean, it's we've got a good amount of players from there. But it's great football tradition that they're bringing in, and they're like family. So if you play at LSU, there's a certain fraternity that and pride that goes with that, that you become part of. So, yes, Darrell helps them out. They've got a great relationship, and they push each other at the same time, which might be the most important thing.
Go to Seren Petra. Go ahead, Seren.
Coach, there's apparently a wave of positive tests that went through the NFL from one testing center. I'm assuming obviously was that you guys were practicing. That's not the center you guys use, but Do you have any input as to, which centers you do use, and do you have a protocol if something like that would happen, as far as okay, we immediately shut down practice, we delay practice? Is there something set for you guys if something like that did occur?
Yeah, so you're always in direct communication with the league on positive tests, and there's a protocol that's set up. So we just follow that. Rick Ripple, we have full trust in doing that, along with Dr. Monaco, and so Rick has been on endless calls with the league. Things happen, so I think we all know that. And listen, this isn't the perfect situation, but everybody's working through it. And if it ends up that it shuts down the practice, you shut it down. You make sure you get it taken care of, and then you ramp it back up and get going again. So it's a like I said, it's a unique year, and we're all aware of it. We trust the protocol. We understand there are going to be some mistakes potentially with the testing. These people are busting their tail for us, and all the different units that are reading these tests and giving us the outcome to it. And sometimes things happen. So, but that's what it is, and we roll.
Let's go to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Andy.
And
Just impressed you so far about Demarcus Robinson's camp, and how much does continuity help you or give you the flexibility to add new concepts to really go to see how much the guys can really increase in terms of their workload?
Yeah, well, that receiver corps is a close group. They challenge each other, but they're very good friends on top of that. I'm a big fan of Demarcus Robinson. I've said that before. Demarcus could be a starter anywhere in the National Football League, and that's the way we look at him. So he's in the rotation, and they go. We try to keep ourselves in a position where we potentially could throw fastballs at you with a rotation, and we're lucky enough to have the guys right now to be able to do that. So that's how we go. But I think everybody's got the utmost respect for D-Rob. He knows every position. He knows it from every personnel group. And the quarterback, most of all, has trust in him, which becomes probably the most important.
We got time for a couple more guys. Let's go Darren and then Harold. Go ahead, Darren.
Coach, good morning to you. How you doing? My question for you is, your work ethic. Most of your starters returning and are returning, and of course you drafted Clyde. What does Andy Reid at like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning when you're either at home or when you're in the office? How do you come up with new plays or design new plays that we haven't seen yet? Or do you kind of go back to plays that you did in the Super Bowl 40s and 50s and put your remix on it?
Yeah, so I don't think any of the coaches really turn it off. I love doing what I'm doing. So whatever time I get up and I go, and I'm excited to have the opportunity to do it. And I guess when I'm not excited, that's probably when I get out. So if they don't kick me out before that, so that's kind of how I roll with it. But I'm blessed to have the guys around me that I do coaching wise, with starting with Eric Bieniemy and Greg Lewis and Mike Kafka, Joe Blameyer, and Tom Melvin, Corey Matei. I mean, all these guys. The thing that gets neglected is the creativity in the run game that we have with Corey and Andy Heck working this thing. I mean, it's phenomenal. And you put Dylan in the mix here, working guys out of the backfield, being able to come up with new things there. And I mean, everybody has an input, and it's unique that way. And so I'm just happy to be a part of that. And the energy's great, and I like that. I like creativity, and I like energy, and you put those two together, normally you come up with some pretty good stuff.
Let's go to Harold for the last one. Go ahead, Harold.
Hey, Andy. I caught a moment with you and Patrick earlier today. You spent like almost a good minute just talking to each other while you were stretching. I'm just curious when it comes to you and Patrick, with a guy like Mahomes who's just so immersed into everything and growing each and every day. How do you teach a player that wants to grow each and every day and just try to fill his brain up, because his brain seems to be endless with the capacity of learning more about football? And then my other question is just simply with veterans for backups, how fortunate are you guys that have those type of veteran experiences like Demarcus and a couple of those guys as backups?
Yeah, well, we'll need all the backups. I mean, you know that, how the season goes, long season, and everybody plays. If you can rotate guys, it keeps everybody fresh and keeps the speed of the game up. Which is great. Brett's done a great job with that, bringing people in and creating this competition, which if you're going to be a good football team, you got to have that. And we're blessed to have that. And then with Pat, listen, he's always wanted to learn, and then he also has ideas. So, and I try to keep the communication line open with him, and he does the same thing from his end, along with the other quarterbacks. That's a healthy room right there, where it's just a good learn center for those guys. There's experience, there's youth in there, there's college coming into the league, and things that they've run before at the either college level or potentially with other teams, and then the coaches are good. So again, we try to keep open communication all the way along, and I try to do that with Patrick the best I can. Thanks for asking.
Coach, we appreciate your time. Thank you.
Okay, take care now.
All right, guys, hang tight. We got Patrick coming up next.
it's not necessarily free reign to try out everything I want, but we do discuss things and we try things. If I do something one way, we ask Coach Kafka, Coach Bieniemy, and Coach Reid ask me why I did that, if I want to try it this way and do different things. And so I think it's just more of a focus on me trying what's out there, going for the shot play maybe when it's a little contested. And then if we have success with it, then we can take it to the season. If we don't, we can kind of learn from it and move on into the next progression.
Let's go to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Patrick. What's impressed you so much so far with working with Nick Keizer? And when you guys do roll out new concepts to try, what is the reaction from the rest of the guys when you know that you guys are doing something new for maybe the first time in camp?
Yeah, with Keizer, I think what's impressed me the most is just the way he's able to correct things and do things the right way the next time, and then have success with some of the different stuff that he's learned from Travis and some of those guys from last year. You're really seeing his game evolve. You're seeing how he's seen how the older guys that have done it and had success with it, and he's adding that to his game, and then he's finding stuff that he's good at, and he's going out there and having success with that. And so when you have guys like that can learn from the veteran guys that we have on this team, then you have guys that can go out there and have success on the field.
Let's go to Seren Petra. Go ahead, Seren.
Patrick, I'm curious, we don't have a game, right, that we're looking back on and second guessing on not going for it on fourth down. So I'm just curious, what goes through your mind with what this offense has been able to do, what you've been able to do, just your mindset on a 4th and 3, a 4th and 4. Are you all the metrics say that those are downs that certainly powerful offenses should be going for. Is that something you sit and lobby for and you'd like to see this team do more of?
Yeah, I mean, I want to go for it every time, no matter what situation it is. No, it's a thing where I trust the coaching staff. I know that we have a great coaching staff. We have a great analytic department. We have everything that know when and where we should go for it. And Coach Reid has a good feel for the game, which I think is the biggest thing on it. He has a feel for the situation, how the offense, defense, special teams are playing. And he usually puts us in the right position that if we're going for it, we're in a good spot. That if it doesn't work out, the defense come out and get a stop, or if it does work out, we can continue to move forward and have success.
Let's go to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Pat, I have a question about Travis Kelce. Everybody sees him doing his own reality dating show and or drinking beer at the Final Four or whatever and sees that side of him. But you're his teammate. You've seen the football side of him. Tell me a story or two that sort of illustrates maybe how serious he is about football and how important this is to him.
Yeah, I think his understanding of coverages and how he runs routes is special. I think that's what's the best thing about his game. I mean, obviously he's physically gifted. He's a mismatch for guys on the field, linebacker, safeties, no matter the corners, whoever it is. But the way he's able to run routes versus coverages and adjust his routes to be right in the right spot at the right time is special. It's something that helps me out a ton. And you see, I think in the playoff game last year when he ran an out route and kind of brought it back in, I threw it to him. And it's stuff that not everybody understands, but I think it's just him thinking like a quarterback and understanding the whole concept of the play and getting other people open and getting himself open when he needs to get open.
Let's go to Steve Walls. Go ahead, Steve.
Hey, what's up, Patrick? Hey, we'll be talking to D-Rob today, and I'd like to know from you, what exactly does he bring to this offense? And also, he probably could have signed with, any other team in the offseason, right? But he chose to come back with you guys. A lot of times from the outside looking in, people don't exactly understand how much of a tight-knit group friendship that you have away from the stadium. How much did you guys talk this offseason, and did you have to convince him to come back at all?
Yeah, I think the like you said, it's a group friendship, and the receiving room, the quarterbacks, the whole offense. And so it wasn't that I tried to convince him to stay. I mean, he made that decision. He wanted to be a part of this. He wanted to be a part of this team. But I think it was more of me wanting him to do what's best for him and his family. And I think he thought what's best for him was being here with us, being a part of this culture, being a part of this team and this community. And like you said, I mean, he's a guy that can be a number one receiver in several different places. And he understands his role in this offense. When he gets in, you see he makes plays when his opportunity is called. And it's nice to have a guy that's on the same page as me. And you see all those scrambles, all those different stuff. He's always on the same page as I am. And he's someone that works extremely hard. He blocks other guys, and he's someone that's a special player in that room that I'm glad it's on our team.
Let's go to Darren Smith. Go ahead, Darren.
Hey, Patrick, I got a couple of questions for you. One, I know that you believe in Andy's play calling, your abilities, your teammates, and the defense. That said, this is a serious question. Can you credibly convince me why, if you all are hitting on all cylinders, why you all can't finish the job that the Patriots did in 2007 to go 19-0.
Yeah, I mean, it's in theory. I mean, you feel like you can. I mean, every single year you feel like you can win every single game. I think it comes down to how you deal with adversity throughout games and throughout the season. I think that's the biggest thing of trying to go 19-0 and trying to do those special things and be a team that the first team that would to ever go undefeated for 19 games and win all that. But it's more than just play calling and players. It's about a team and the culture that you have and how every single week, every single day, every single opportunity you accept that challenge. And I feel like that's where it gets lost at. I mean, our goal is to take it one game at a time, one day at a time, one play at a time. And we're going to try to do that every single day and hopefully put ourselves in chances to win every single opportunity that we get.
Looks like we got 3 more. Let's go Harold, Sam, and then Sarin to finish it. Go ahead, Harold.
Hey, Patrick. Hope you're doing well, man. When it comes to, I got the shot of you and Andy Reid kind of talking for like a good solid minute and a half during stretch. And I just want to know, what is it like to have those conversations with Andy every day, what you guys get into, and how has he let you grow and evolve, not just on the field, but, kind of off the field as a man and everything, especially in this different offseason that we've had. And I also want to ask you about, obviously, it would have been the birthday of Kobe Bryant, just kind of, I know you went through it during the Super Bowl, but knowing that was still this year, amazingly, and then just what you kind of learned from him about competition, along with, Michael Jordan, since you saw Last Dance.
Yeah, so the first part with Coach Reid and this whole coaching staff in general, I think it's just a lot of good people that love the sport that they do, and they love coaching football and being part of the culture, and they also love to really, I don't know what the best way to really bring out the best person that they can bring out in the player that they have. And so with Coach Reid, it's as far as trying to figure out the best way to run a play or the best way to be a part of the community, he's going to give you his best advice from stuff that he's learned. And I think when you have someone that you trust that is going to do that for the not only just the betterment of themselves, but the betterment of the people that they're talking to, you can trust that their words mean more and that they are in the best interest of you. And then with Kobe and it being his birthday, obviously the player on the court, the mentality that he had, the Mamba mentality of attacking every single day, attacking every single rep, treating practice like it's game day, treating film session like it's game day. But also you saw after his career the way he treated his family and the way he brought up everyone around him. I think that's just the mentality you have to have in everything. Every single thing you do is that you're going to attack every single opportunity you have to be a person and a player with the greatest amount of effort to be the best you can.
Let's go to Sam. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Patrick. Hope all's well. You talked about just how much you enjoy the game, but for this specific part of the year, for training camp, what is it you enjoy about this process?
I think the biggest thing I enjoy is the challenge of every single day. I think when you're in training camp, it's not you're not getting the looks that you might expect. You're not getting the perfect look for the perfect play where you get to throw it to this guy and we've schemed it up perfectly for this. It's a challenge every single day. And then when you have the defense coordinator like Spags, he's trying out different stuff. He's trying out different looks, and it's making it challenging for the offense. And so for me, it's about going out there every single day, having your highs, having your lows, and having to grind through and try to figure out the best way to be better the next day.
Let's go to Sarin for the last one. Go ahead, Sarin.
Patrick, yesterday you got a chance to have the fans out around you, and I know you guys feed off that. I mean, we've seen how excited you get in moments and kind of looking up at the fans and everything. But since you guys have been so isolated, was there kind of a whoa moment, like maybe not fear, right? I don't think you walked out there afraid, but just kind of how different it was. And there's been conversation back and forth about fans wearing or not wearing masks. You guys have taken such precautions. And it seems like, we see you guys walk in every time and you're even asking guys, hey, can I take the mask off? It's obvious that it's a very strict protocol around there. Did seeing some of the fans who had taken the mask off, did that kind of, bother you because it's so ingrained in what you're doing?
Well, yeah, the first part of it, I think, with having the fans there, I think it kind of gave you another energy. Just being out there, the fans cheering, you getting to see them. I mean, the passion that they have in Chiefs Kingdom is unmatched, and so it was awesome to be out there and be a part of that. I mean, it really did got me going. You can see me getting hyped up, and Chris Jones running out there hyping up the crowd and everything like that. And another part was, I mean, I think there was only 2,000 people there, but it was loud, and I was pleasantly surprised by that. I mean, so. Hopefully when we get this stadium even more and more full, that it'll keep being loud. You'll get that Arrowhead Stadium feel. And then the second part, for the most part, when I looked up, I saw people with masks on. I mean, obviously there were certain people that didn't have masks on. I think people saw on videos and stuff like that. But it's a learning process. It's something that I'm sure the chief security and everybody will really emphasize the fans that we have to have the mask on. If you're not eating or drinking, you put the mask on, not only for yourself, but for the people around you. So everybody feels safe when they come into Arrowhead Stadium. And I think that's what that practice was for. And then the next week, whenever we have people at the stadium, is we're going to kind of get those protocols, getting used to those different stuff so that we can go into the seats and have people there and have the support of Chiefs Kingdom.
Patrick, we appreciate the time today. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys, hang tight. I believe we have Nick Keizer coming up next.
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Perfect. All right, let's get started, and we'll start with Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hello, Nick.
How's it going?
Good. How much has it been beneficial for you to be working so much with Patrick during training camp so far? And then what did a year on the practice squad and learning from Travis Kelce do for you to be prepared for this opportunity this season?
Yeah. Well, it's been amazing getting reps with Pat. Obviously, he knows the offense just as well as anybody. So anytime there's anything wrong with the play or whatever that we need to work out, he'll come off to you on the side and talk to you and kind of get things corrected. And then as far as last year, being on the practice squad, spending a year here, learning the offense and being behind, Trav and Blake Bell last year was a big year for me to just kind of absorb everything and kind of learn. And now I'm able to use that and move forward and grow every day.
Let's go to Matt Derrick. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Nick, good to see you. You talk about, having a year under your belt. I'm just curious, how different do you feel like you are as a player right now than you were a year ago? And how do you feel like what the Chiefs do offensively with the tight end fits in with your skill set?
Yeah, I feel like I've developed a lot in the past year, being behind those guys, like I said, learning what they do and observing and watching them and kind of implementing that in my game. And then spending a lot of time in the offseason. I've felt like I've always been a pretty strong blocker, but this offseason I spent a lot of time, working on my routes and my quickness, speed, just releases and stuff like that. And I feel like that's kind of brought me slightly to a little better level of overall versatility. And then, sorry, what was the other question?
Just how you feel like your skill set fits in with how the Chiefs use their tight ends.
Yeah. I feel like I provide, a good blocking element to the offense, which, we have a lot of run schemes that the tight ends are very involved in at the point of the attack. And, I feel like that's something I can bring to the table and help displace guys and, create holes. And then as well as, just the other side of the game, just the route running and stuff, just being crisp and knowing my assignments. I feel like that's something I'm able to do.
Go to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Morning, Nick. I was wondering, so you've had this year, and now you're in camp again, and you're getting to absorb Andy Reid and all he has to offer. And I was wondering what you find to be the most challenging part of absorbing the playbook and as you're in this tight end two battle, and then how are you overcoming that part of it?
Yeah, this is a very good offense. There's a lot of elements to it, and which is great. It opens up a lot of holes. It makes it very explosive. But there's a lot of little details to be focused on. There might be a route that might seem like a simple route, but then based on the coverage, based on what the look is, what's going on, there's little tweaks and things you might need to change. And just being crisp on those every single play, it can be challenging. And that's something that every once in a while. I'll miss a read or something, and that's something that I just get corrected with, with the quarterback and with my coach, and they spend a lot of time they've been patient, and I've been, working really hard, getting in the playbook, just trying to just get the reps as many as I can. The more reps I get, the better I feel like I get. So.
Go to Serin Petro. Go ahead, Serin.
Nick, just can you talk about what it's like to see the ball come out from Patrick Mahomes? Like, I'm sure you settled into it now, having been around there, but was there a moment where you're like, wow, it's like no other quarterback? And are there times even, I know Adam and some of the guys have asked questions about some of the throws he's popped off here in camp where you find yourself just kind of your jaw drops down, even though you've got the pads on and you're running your route, you can't believe what he just uncorked?
Yeah, well, when the ball leaves his hand, there's little sparks and little rainbows around it every time, and it's pretty crazy. I'm kidding, but no, he does an amazing job of putting it in a good spot, and obviously he makes throws that you wouldn't think are possible. So it's pretty cool to be on the receiving end of that, and then just doing my part, getting in the right spot for him, and he helps obviously make my job a little easier by putting him in some small windows. But yeah.
Looks like we got two more. Let's go Herbie and then Darren. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Nick, I want to follow up on the question that Matt asked you about what you work on this offseason. And you specifically mentioned working on your blocking. I'm curious, did you have to change your diet? And then how much weight have you put on compared to last season?
I really haven't put on much weight at all, if any. I've kind of stayed about the same, right around 255. But I did work on a lot of, explosive movements in the off season. Moving weight fast and just getting out of a stance. And as far as my diet goes, I try to eat pretty healthy, but I burn so many calories that a lot of times it's just, getting as much as I can in. But yeah, I think the biggest thing really was just the training that I did, the explosive movements, and just working on strength and power.
Let's go to Darren for the last one. Go ahead, Darren.
Hey, Nick, first of all, thank you for doing this for us. And then second, a couple of questions for you. One, you've been here for a couple of years. This is your second year now, so you won the Super Bowl. As I've asked Demarcus and someone like Juan, what is that motivating factor, since you've already climbed the mountaintop and gotten it, to want to continue to strive to add more titles to your repertoire? And then also learning under Travis, what have you been able to steal from him or type of advice that has made you a better player the second year going in?
Yeah, as far as the Super Bowl goes, that was a great experience to be a part of. But to an extent, I was a little more of an observer for that, being on the practice squad. I got to help out, giving good looks and stuff. But that just motivates me further to have more of a role in earning that title. And hopefully that's something I can do this year, moving forward. So I'm excited to do all that. And then as far as Travis goes, obviously he's one of the best to do it, and being behind him has been a great asset for me in my game. In every aspect of it, routes, receiving, blocking, everything. Every little thing he's got tips, he's got little tricks, and I've been able to use those and develop them and twist them in my own little style. And I think it's made my game a lot better. So I'm very obviously appreciative of him for all that. So
Nick, we appreciate the time today. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it, guys.
All right, guys, hang tight. We've got D-Rob coming up next. Hey, D-Rob, can you hear us okay?
Yes, I can. Can y'all hear me?
We can hear you. We're ready to get started. Let's start with Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Demarcus, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good, thanks. Couple things. Were you disappointed that maybe the free agent market didn't develop the way you'd hoped during the offseason? And now that you're back here again, what's left for you to prove here in Kansas City that you haven't already proved, do you think?
I would say this, man, going out and making more plays and doing what I'm asked to do. I wanted to come back here. I don't think it's a lot for me to prove. I think they know what I can do, and I think we got a good understanding of what they want me to do here. And I'm okay with doing what I have to do here to get to what I want to do next.
Let's go to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Hey, D-Rob, even in Patrick Mahomes' earliest days when he became the starter, it has seemed like you and him had this natural chemistry. And I was wondering, why do you think that is? And why were you guys able to develop that just so early on and continue and grow that to this day?
Man, just being good friends, close to people, hanging out outside of work, and just having a good relationship with each other. You know what I'm saying? Just being friends.
Let's go to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Demarcus, when you see what Andy Reid has done this time around to give you guys new things to work on in training camp, just what's that been like compared to previous years in the past in your experience in this offense?
Just putting guys in position to make plays. I mean, he's always done that, and we just always bringing in talent and more talent. So just making sure everybody gets a chance to show their talent and put their hands on the ball and show what they can do. I think he does a really good job of that.
Let's go to Sam McDowell. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Demarcus, what's going on?
Nothing much. How you doing?
Good. To build off of what Adam asked you first, I mean, with the free agent market, you said you wanted to come back here. What is it about this place that you really wanted to come back? And how much did the free agent market develop for you? I mean, what was it, a choice that you were deciding between here and other places?
I mean, I think we won a championship, and you play the game to win championships, and I think we got the best chance to go back and win another championship here, and that's why I'm playing the game, to win championships and build a legacy for my family and for myself. So I want to just come back and try to win as many as I can, so that's what I did.
Go to Darren Smith. Go ahead, Darren.
Hey, D-Rob, what's going on with you, big guy?
Not much. How you doing?
Doing good. A couple of questions for you. Obviously, you became a father earlier this year, so congratulations on that. How do you think that's made you a better football player? Then secondly, can you kind of describe or explain the relationship with you and the wide receiver group, along with Patrick? How you all have relationships off the field that kind of brings you all and makes you all a better cohesive unit together?
Oh yeah, I would say, man, we always just get together and hang out, whether it's at Pat's house, anybody's house, Travis's house. We all like to just hang out, man. I think that brings you closer than just being on the field or then just working at work. Once you take it to another level of just hanging out outside of football and then just really getting to know one another personally, and I think that makes you just better, and you can just feel how this person gonna play on the field, even though it has nothing to do with playing on the field. I just think it brings you more closer to a person.
Let's go to Steve Walls. Go ahead, Steve.
Hey, what's up, D-Rob? How you doing, man?
I'm good, my man. How you?
I'm good. Coach EB said earlier this week that you were one of the guys on the team that understands the importance of if you don't work, you don't eat. Talk about that mentality, man, and also the ability that you have to just step in and fill any role if needed.
Yeah, that's kind of my role. I mean, we got a lot of elite guys, and if you don't work, you don't eat. It's another guy trying to come up and eat, just like we all are, man. So you just got to stay on your grind, no matter what happens, no matter how the circumstances is, or what you think is playing out. You just keep putting your best foot forward every day, and some good will work out in your favor.
Looks like we've got one more question. Let's go to Sarin Petro to close it out. Go ahead, Sarin.
Demarcus, thank you for the time. I'm curious, back on Adam's question, the first question, you said, you talked about coming back, that you were confident that you could do everything you wanted to do to be where you what you want to do next, right? So what is what you want to do next would be my first question. Like, does that elevate up to being the number one wide out? Is it a stat thing? Is it a Pro Bowl thing? Like, what is what you want to do next? And then secondarily, I know it was kind of asked a couple of times there about what other teams you may have been talking to that had interest in you, that you had to weigh that the Chiefs, hey, coming back was better than this other team.
Yeah, I just think we won the championship. So Chiefs the best team in the NFL to me, in my eyes, in my opinion. We won the national championship, not national championship, but we won the Super Bowl. So I mean, I'm trying to win as many Super Bowls as I can. And off the first question, I mean, I'm just trying to take care of my family is what I mean. That's basically the next step. I want to win as many Super Bowls as I can, and in doing that, I want to make the most money as I can playing this game. So that was what I meant by that first question.
D-Rob, we appreciate you taking the time, my friend. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
All right, guys, that is it for today.